I'm Lone Wolf and this is TERRORTIME in CUTVILLE. Well, it's been a bit of a mess this to start with because the camera has stopped 3 times. Once with the battery, the camera went off, and then because I was fiddling on with it, I've deleted the first section. So this is me saying it for about the 3rd time, and hopefully it doesn't go off again. So yeah, it's the 5th day of the beat making at the minute, and I really enjoyed yesterday's one, which was the faster beat. I call it fast, or faster. So I thought I'd give another shot of another one about that pace. So this one's 1/4/6, and the kicks on this took me ages, like ages. It just wasn't working. About 2 hours later, all right, now that's well, not 2 hours, an hour and a half. It must have been an hour and a half. That's better. The snares went together quite well, and as it happens, persistence paid off because the kick and the snare work actually really well together. So really, there's a bit of an airy feel to them as well, which I quite like because it brings the tone up a bit brighter, without being harsh. Like a bit of a wispy high to it. The snares are nice and punchy. They went in really well. And yeah, a few layers of the normal percussion. So I've got some nice sharp hi-hat, and then I put in, really like it for this style of beat, like a bit of a zap, which always quite works really well. You give it a bit of a sort of electronic feel to it. So those parts have gone together well. I've got like cowbell. That usually works really well as well. And then I did have a lead line I was starting with, which was this line. It was that as a foundation to around the beat and stuff. But then I started going off it a bit. Not for that. I still really like that line, but the underlying bass underneath, I wasn't happy with that. So I ended up trying lots of different basses, and then I was just like, So if that happens, I usually just maybe take out even though you quite liked it, maybe take that bit out if you're not getting anywhere with it, or if I'm not getting anywhere with it. And yeah, I swapped it around, so now the focus is on more of a like really filthy, dirty bass, MIDI bass. It's like if it wants to play. So just sheer dirt, really. So that works really well over this beat, and I've made it like stunted. So it's not just sweeping all the time. It breaks it up. Gives it a bit more. Sounds like there's a bit more happening to it. It's a bit just like a quicker cut, so like an action sequence on a film is a quicker cut, so it's giving the impression of lots of sort of faster things happening. So I've sort of done that with this, and it works really well with it. So the normal drums by themselves. Really energetic, quite stompy on the kick. It leads in well with the percussion. I think. Yeah, so I took that initial lead melody out and then tried it with the bass line. That goes really well with it. I could have had a bit more flowy, but I quite like the stunts. It sort of emphasises the kicks. It emphasises like the short breaks emphasize sort of something else happening, like an event that's occurring type thing. So it's just not one long constant drone, which can sound good in some circumstances, but in this instance it worked well with the stopping and starting. So I went with that with it. And then I got a lead. Well, it's not a lead at all, is it? It's a like a sort of impact, but it's like one of my favourite films is Terminator 1 and 2. Amazing. But I used to listen to the Terminator soundtrack a lot, like Terminator even 1 when it first came out, when I was growing up. I would hammer that soundtrack loads. And I love the Terminator 2 soundtrack as well. Really, I love it. Like the atmospheres and the noises and sounds. So on this one I've had like that sort of impact bang that they sort of have in style that they have in sort of kind of Terminator, like that type of thing. So that I've tried a few little combinations of that over the beat, and this one works quite well. It's basic on the start, but then it develops a bit on the second, sort of halfway through. So I got a stab for it. So the stab is very like an impact stab, which is very Terminator-esque. It was seeming a bit bare, but not bare. It was missing something. I thought it was missing something around the mid frequencies, but I didn't want anything harsh. The good thing about a pad is it kind of like creeps through the graphs. It's like a smoke which creeps around objects and just fills objects nicely, not harshly. So I didn't want it playing all the way through because it can detract from that nice bass line. So it knits all the beat and the sounds together really well without totally overdoing it, which is great. So because it provides some atmosphere to it, which I really like. So combined, it sounds like. And on the second part, it goes into like a 3-note where the impacts are just. I was playing around with the impact, and it was a bit too much to have too many notes in it right at the start. So I've just put like one note in basically, and then the second part you hear like dan 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 type. It's knitting together really well. It's the drum parts are ticking over nicely. It's got that feel that I want to scratch over them. So this one's gone really well again. So hopefully tomorrow's can be another good one. And I've been enjoying doing these daily because I usually have, as I said before, I usually do various things during the day, as well as my music being one of them. I'd love to be just putting more beats out. I know I don't put as many out as well. Certainly I would like to, but it's just a time factor really. In the future, I might find a way of being able to do more and being able to put more out, because all the scratch community around the world can enjoy the beats. Obviously I'm not the only person to do the beats, but I like to think I help contribute to the scene, and that's very important for me to be able to do that, and that's what we do with the channel, and we've done that for years with all the things we've done, and I really enjoy doing that. So if I could put more beats out more regularly, so that you know, everyone in the scene has got more beats to enjoy the art of scratch music, then that would be great. But I'll maybe think of some different things. I think that I can maybe try and free my time a little bit more and be able to put some more of these out. So, but certainly I've really enjoyed doing these last 5 days, and I think the beats are sounding really good as well. So hopefully tomorrow, and then the last, tomorrow is the start of the last 3 beats. Then I should have the 8, and yeah, so it's going well so far, and hopefully the next one will be as good as these. Until then.